Hey guys.
Hi guys.
How are we doing? Welcome to episode 5. Can't believe it's been 5 weeks that we've been doing this already.
Can't believe it, man. That's actually
Can't believe it's actually still going.
Crazy.
We were thinking about, would this be the thing for us? Would it not be the thing for us? But from all the feedback and stuff that we're getting,
it's so nice.
It's really good, man. We're really overwhelmed.
It's really encouraging just to hear lovely things. It's really lovely to hear that we're making a difference, and we're just, I don't know, even if something like boosting someone's mood, making them smile, like anything, or taking snippets of advice from us, it's really, really good to hear.
It's huge, man. Like we always said, obviously, as long as, even if it just changes one person's day or one person's life, but I mean, with the amount of messages and stuff that we've been having, thank you. And to all the people that we haven't had a chance to respond to as well, sorry, we are trying to get round to it. It's been absolutely hectic, obviously. It's a bit of a madness. If you guys can hear a bit of an interference, a bit of like TV on or something in the background, that's Amri. She's sitting over there.
She's in the back.
She is, our audience, spectators today.
Spectators.
Yeah,
Starting having an audience now.
That's it. But anyway, let's go on to today's topics. What are you thinking?
So today's topic is going to be called, is business going to make me, being in business going to make me a millionaire? Millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire, whatever you want to say. The reason we've decided on that topic today is we've had quite a few people message us actually saying that they're going into business. However, their parents are saying, no, don't do that. Go and get a job. Go and become a lawyer, a doctor, dentist, something like that. Don't go into business because they're like worried for them.
It's just that we're also getting people messaging us as well saying, how things are so difficult, how certain things are like, hard and things get tough and times. And I think people have a lot of misconceptions. Yeah. People just think about it, look at people and think they're doing business. We need to do business, and we do business, we're going to be absolutely minted.
Yeah. So we've had some people message me at Reminds Me saying that they're in business and the figures the turnover isn't doing what they expected it to be, and they feel really deflated. What do you do in this situation? So we just want to give a real, true account of what it's like being in business. Don't want anyone to go into it with rose-tinted glasses thinking, yep, that's it, you're suddenly going to become this multi-millionaire. I mean, if you're lucky, there probably are people's stories like that out there that have experienced it, but we definitely haven't.
It ain't that. I don't even think that. I mean, there's a lot of people. I guarantee if you sit in with a millionaire in a room or someone who's done well for themselves or very wealthy, they will all have a story.
Everyone.
They will always have a story at some point, and there's always processes. We're going to talk about this process throughout business. There's always have a story where they'll turn around and say, that was a tough time. They'll always have a lesson. They'll always have an experience, something to share with you. So, it's not what it seems.
With us, it definitely.
Well, you never even wanted to be in business.
Exactly. So, I always said I didn't want to because obviously I spoke about this in previous episodes about Baz saying, about me always looking at Baz and he always seemed stressed around the clock. Whereas, when I look back at it, actually I was very stressed Monday to Friday. I was also stressed on a Sunday, thinking, oh God, I've got to go into work on a Sunday. Remember, your stress was different,
wasn't it? Your stress was like, it's the end of the month. Oh yeah, I've got KPIs. I got this to meet. Oh shit, I've got a meeting with.
You forget about it.
I've got a meeting with the director. I've got a meeting with this. So there's always layers to stress within every industry and with every business and everything.
Job, business, anything.
But I think the actual owning of the business is a different stress. It's an ultimate beast of a stress, isn't it?
So when I'm in this business, I'm having stress, because you get a lot of stress.
But before you actually go into this, would you change it?
Definitely not.
No. Okay.
But I do have days, but I do have days where I do say to you, bloody hell, Baz, would it just be easier?
What about the amount of times, obviously, when we're in the desserts and you were like, actually, F this, I'm going to go off and get a job?
Yeah. Because you have days.
Do you know what I mean?
You think that. So basically, when you're in business and you're having a tough day, you look back on when you had a job and you think, oh, I never used to have tough days and it was all right. I didn't have that stress, but you did. You had a lot. I personally had a lot of stress. I remember that one job. I remember my manager used to be so rude to me. She proper shouted at me before in a car park. I'll never forget that. I feel like it's engraved in my head. And obviously when I used to have meetings with my director, I felt like I had to get all my figures ready. I remember that sinking feeling on a Sunday of stress of doing stuff. But then on the other side, I had lots of fun times as well. You think I don't have to go to bed thinking about how I'm going to pay the staff at the end of the month or how the business is doing. You only have your own stress. So there's pros and cons to everything. So let's start off with, what are the pros of being in business?
The pros are, it allows you to strive towards financial freedom. That's what it is for me. That's when I look at business, I think, okay, working for yourself, doing your own thing, not being governed by anyone else, not being told what you can do when you can't do it. All that sort of stuff, like that freedom is huge, but also with that freedom becomes so much more daunting responsibilities.
We're only talking about the pros.
No, I thought it kind of just worked in one.
No, we'll do that afterwards.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So that's a really good one.
Yeah.
So mine would be, my pro of being in business is watching something that you're passionate about or something that you've created come to life. So for me, obviously the brand Delightful Desserts, watching that come to life, watching people come into our store, enjoying the desserts, watching people tag us on social media or just seeing them enjoy our desserts is just such a lovely feeling. Watching them open a menu, thinking, wow, everything on that we wrote, I actually created that. Same with our drinks, watching someone drink our drinks and enjoy them and like being so passionate about drinking them, and it's like, wow, we created that, and it's just a feeling that is just so special. It's almost magical, really. It's just a lovely, warm, fuzzy feeling inside. So watching something that you're passionate about and watching...
Yeah, the pride of watching sales and stuff go into sales.
You're like, wow.
You know, selling as well is huge. It's a massive self sense of pride. But I don't think we really appreciated much of that. I don't think we look back.
We don't do it enough.
We don't do it enough.
We do try and do it a lot more now.
We try and do it a lot more now.
Gratitude a lot more. We don't.
Yeah,
do it
definitely.
Another pro.
I think I kind of covered mine in that one thing, didn't I, really?
No, there's loads of pros. There's loads of pros. But yeah, don't stop putting people off. There's loads of pros to being in business. Flexibility. You get to go do what you want.
I'm sure I said that in the first one.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like in that one statement, I turned around and said, it gives you the freedom to do what you want, when you want, how you want to do it.
You don't have to ask for annual leave. You don't have to worry about not being able to get it off. You don't have to think, oh gosh, I'm going to come in late today, or my little one's off sick, how am I going to do it? So you're
Let's talk about the other pros. I mean, like, there's other things as well, like the stature that is involved with it as well.
Oh, yeah.
Some people want to do it. Some people want to do it for pride and say that, you know, your own business holder and, you know, business owner and you own your own. I suppose you're in control of your own destiny.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. I like that.
That's a strong thing.
And also another one that I saw is making a change to people's lives. So Baz and I often talk about that. So this month we've just paid a very big wage bill for our staff. And it was coming to it and we were like, oh my God, like, how are we going to do this? Because it's been a tough month all around. And then when it was all paid and cleared, didn't we just say, like, wow, like, we've literally just kind of just paid, like, not obviously paid for them, but like they're able to enjoy their Christmas now because of the job that we've given them. They're able to have that life that they've got because of the job they've got, and they've got that job because of us. So that is a really, really nice feeling. That, like, basically making a direct change to people's lives is probably the best feeling out of everything, to be honest. Knowing that someone needs a job and we've able to give them that job.
That's huge.
Is
massive.
Life-changing, really, for them as well. So we're making a direct difference. So I think that's pretty much all the pros, which are amazing. The cons are there's no off switch. That's one big thing for me, is that you can never switch off. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you need to be active, because ultimately every single sense of the responsibility of the whole business is on the owner's shoulders. Yeah.
Okay, ultimately, you will eventually have a structure in place where you'll have directors in place that will do separate roles and stuff like that within the business. But the driving force and the real push behind the business has to come from yourself. If it doesn't come from yourself, it's massively stressful, because like if it doesn't come from yourself, then you are literally standing still, and we all know that when you stand still, you go backwards.
Yeah.
So if you're definitely within the beginning years of a business, if you're not innovating, if you're not pushing, if you're not creating, if you're not being out there and changing your marketing strategies and taking your failures as lessons and doing all this sort of stuff, then business ain't for you.
Yeah, you've got to basically push yourself every single day. If you have a shit day, you know how we said in the pros, you get to wake up when you want, do what you want. Really, you don't want to be doing that. You don't want to be waking up at 12 o'clock every day and strutting into work at 1 o'clock. You don't want to be doing that. You want to be putting in the most hours you possibly can, because there's no one else who's going to push the business. You haven't got you might put, like Baz said, a team in place. We've had area managers, we've got directors, we've had so many people who we've tried to create a structure, but we've still had to push them. We've had area managers working for us that have absolutely ruined our business because we've let them have that freedom, which is something that we'll talk about in future episodes. Oh God.
She's here.
Let me help you.
She's not on the screen. Say hello.
Say hello.
No?
Flicking around.
Don't you want this? Turn it back. Yeah.
Good girl, go on, chill.
Sorry guys, as you guys can see, nothing's edited here.
So we put structure in place before and it hasn't ever worked out for us. So
no, but it isn't just that. You put the structure in place,
in the hope
which is great, and then suddenly wages day comes around again, and then you see some people that are worth their weight in gold, and you see some people that haven't brought any single ounce of value to the business, and then you feel bitter towards paying these people as well.
And then
there's so many highs and lows in business. Is crazy. You'll have the highest of the highs and you'll have the lowest of the lows.
We often say that.
It's a massive emotional roller coaster.
And I can honestly say, hand on heart, we have experienced all of that. We have experienced being right up there, like
sometimes you experience it in the same day.
Yeah, literally. That's a mad thing about business. Like, after an hour, you might suddenly be really shit right down there. Then you'll have one call with someone and one meeting with someone, then you feel like you're flying again. Like it's so mad, like how much it messes with you. But that's business, isn't it? Another con is the extremely long hours. So like I said, you can't just rock up whenever you want, leave whenever you want. You've got to put in those hours. If you want the business, whatever it is that you've got, be it a shop, be it an online business, anything, you've got to be working around the clock. Not just be there physically in person and be seen to be sat behind the laptop, but constantly researching, looking at what other people are doing, what are your competition doing, what are the...
I always turn around and say, we often say, sorry to cut you short, we often say, you're only as good as your competition. So you know, I've had a few people that have messaged me saying, oh yeah, you know, we're not driving any traffic towards X, Y, and Z or what we're doing. I was like, well, go out there and, like Sonny said, look at your competition and look at what other people are doing out there, and go there and attack that market. And if you're finding this, if you're finding that difficult, and if you know what the thing is, if you're finding that as a con, I'd turn around and say, well, that shouldn't really be a con, because that should be your passion. If you're not, if you see this as work, then business ain't for you.
Yeah.
You're doing this for financial freedom, which is what the whole reason what money brings you.
Okay, I've got a shit day today. Oh God, now this I'm beginning to think it's not for me, because then the next day you might have a great day. So I'm saying you're going to experience. Just be prepared to experience a roller coaster in business.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
Another big con is an inconsistency in everything that you do. So when you have a 9 to 5, you've got structure. You know when you're going to work, you know when you're going to leave work, you know when your lunch break is, you know when you're going to get paid on the month, you know how many holidays you've got. Everything is structured, like it's just set for you, it's done. You don't even have to think about those type of things. When you're in business, there's massive inconsistency. Sometimes you might be working till 11 o'clock at night, sometimes you might leave at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, sometimes you might be working all weekend, other times you might not even put your laptop on the weekend. Sometimes you might get paid on one certain day of the month, the next time you might not pay yourself for another year down the line, because you literally don't have, you've got the money coming in, or you might not have the money coming in, but you need to spend it elsewhere. Sometimes you might have enough money to pay the wages at the end of the month and pay your bills and pay your suppliers. Other months things might be that tough that it's a struggle to do it. That is the inconsistency of your life, and that for me was the hardest thing to deal with, wasn't it? For me, when I first went into business, I was like, what is going on here? I was used to being paid at a certain time every month. I was used to structure, and suddenly I was thrown into this world with no structure, and it was like a shock. But I'm so used to it now, it's become normal. But it's just massive inconsistency with your life, and you've just got to be prepared for that in business. Don't walk into it thinking it's going to be happy days, la-di-da, because when we go into some stories in a minute...
It ain't just about that as well. It's like you're looking at that structure, you're looking at all sort of stuff. The other con is that you're going to have a lot of people around you that are going to be throwing negative vibes on what your situation is. They're going to be putting you back saying, I told you so, you shouldn't have done this, don't do that, do this, do this. You're going to feel like you're literally being pulled from pillar to post, especially when you're creating the infrastructure. If you're creating the infrastructure of the business as well, you're going to just be running around like a headless chicken, and some days you're going to feel like you're not making any progress within the business. And again, it just goes back to the thing about it's an emotional roller coaster. But enjoy every second of it.
Enjoy it.
Because you'll look back at it and you'll turn around and think, oh yeah, God, you know what, look at those days, remember when we started here? There should always be that sense of pride, and as long as you stay focused to your goal and what your end goal is, and proving the people that said that it weren't possible, that it is possible, and proving to yourself that you've become a success. And then when you have got those days when you decide that you want to take 3 weeks off and go and sit on the beach in Dubai, you can do that knowing that you've been through the tough times. And I guarantee you, that's what we're saying before about how every millionaire will always have a story behind them that will tell you of how they exactly got to where they are.
It's not one person where it's an easy ride for. People think it literally, it's just like this. It's not. It's like a million somersaults, round highs and lows in between. Another con is the strain. I wish we did the cons first and ended it on the pros, which I'm really annoyed about, but hey ho, because we're going to talk about some pros afterwards anyway, so it's fine. The strain, there's a lot of strain on you mentally, because you're firing people, you're hiring people, you've got people that have worked with you that are abusing your trust right in front of you, and you're thinking, what do I do in this situation? Shall I give him another chance? Shall I not? You've got to take risks in order to find out if it is right for you. If you're ever in a business and you don't take any risks, then you're not doing anything. You're going to fail 100%, because you need to take risks, because those risks are going to either make you or break you. But you've got to make that. You've got to try to see if it is going to make you. And we've taken a lot of risks, and some have worked out fantastic, and some are just absolute lessons. So Baz and I often say there's no such thing as failures in business. Literally, failures in business do not exist. What exists is lessons, and we've had a lot of lessons. A lot.
Yeah, a lot.
A lot. And you just pick yourself up, dust yourself.
And you still having lessons?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like and you've got to take the lessons, and it makes you so much of a better entrepreneur.
Absolutely. And the final con is, but you could see it as a con or a pro, but it's constantly learning. So you're constantly having to keep up to date with the latest rules, regulations, you know.
But again, if this is your passion, it's your business, what you believe,
HR-related stuff,
and this is what you want to do.
Yeah,
this
then
is.
it wouldn't be.
It shouldn't be a problem. It shouldn't be an issue.
Right, so let's start off with some stories. So I'll start off with my first story about Delightful Desserts. So I was in a 9-to-5 job doing sales. I was based at home. I had our office in America. As a company that we were working for, I had to travel to America once a year. I had a company car. I was either working from home or going out on meetings regularly. I wasn't really happy in the job in itself because I didn't like my manager, but the job itself was cushy. Like, it was a nice, easy number. It was a nice salary and everything like that. Then I thought of the idea of Delightful Desserts come about, worked on it non-stop around the clock for 6 months to make it happen. And then when it happened, all my family, my parents, sisters and everyone was saying to me, Sunny, don't leave your 9-to-5 job. It's great that you've got this. It's absolutely fantastic. However, don't leave something that's going to give you that security. At least you've still got an income coming. You don't know how this is going to get on. Like, it might all fail. You don't know what it's going to be like. So just keep that job and then just do this on the side as well. And I was so tempted to do that, wasn't I? I was like, literally, I was torn. I was like, what should I do?
It was mental. We were running the dessert parlours. We had 3-hour queues outside the door. We were rushed off our feet, but every 3 minutes you had to go back to your laptop, touch it. Which the laptop was on the shelf. It was covered in waffle mix.
Yeah.
It was just literally covered. It was like proper, like literally covered.
God,
and just literally just touching it like this.
In trouble.
Yeah.
I thought, how can I be in trouble now? But yeah, I used to take my laptop into there. And obviously just to be seen, to be online, so just randomly touch my laptop every bit just in case, because they had this online chat thing, so just to make it seem like I was there. So like, I was really, really busy in the shop. I couldn't keep doing that, and obviously I still had to do a job. I couldn't just do that as well. And Baz kept saying, Sunny, this isn't going to work. If you want Delightful Desserts to work, you have to leave your job and give your all to this. And I was so unsure because I was like, I've got a cushy number here. Why would I want to leave? However, leaving...
Do you remember you went to fly off to America?
Yeah, I was meant to fly off. So we started the business in December the 7th, I think, actually. And then in January, every January, we had to go to America for like a seminar thing. Like, we always had to be there for 2 weeks. And I literally had to make my decision before I went because I didn't want to go to America leaving my new store. Like, I just didn't want to do that. And then I literally had that deadline thinking, what shall I do? And then I think that was the deciding factor for me, weren't it? And
I think it was, yeah.
I really pushed the issue saying, come on, Sunny, if you really want to give it your all, leave. So basically, the moral of that story is that if you want to give something, if you really, really want your business to work, you do have to give it your all. Don't try and treat it as a side hustle. Don't try and treat it as a little... You know, a lot of people just say it's my small business on the side. If you do treat it as that, it's going to be your
no, which is fine. Some people just want like a nice little small business that they want to work.
Yeah, if you want that, that's fine.
Yeah, which is what they want to work in. Yeah.
And if I didn't leave my job and give my all to that business, then that's what it would have been, or it probably would have not even been what it is now. Because when you do put other people in control of your business, then essentially it's not going to work because it's not going to be the way you want it to be, is it? So that's my little story about that. I'm so glad I made that decision to actually leave that job and go and give it my all because I weren't expecting to make money and be successful.
How many lessons did we learn from that?
So many. Like, what?
Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I mean. Like, within the business, like, we opened a couple of stores. We opened our third store, then we opened our fourth store, which is a massive risk for us. We opened one in the shopping centre. The rent was astronomical. I think the rents, rates and service were north of like 120, 130k. It's a massive risk for us, and we knew it was going to be a make or break for the business. We were at a point where we were very comfortable, where we just could have sat there and thought, okay, this is great. We're going to have a great time here, and we're doing very well for ourselves. However, I always wanted that more, and I think you were wanting more as well, where we just said, okay, now let's take this to the next level. We reached a dream for us to be positioned next to a Nando's, next to a Prezzo, next to obviously other kind of like, multinational brands, and it failed miserably.
Yes.
It did. It literally just failed.
It was a great store, but for the amount of expense it had associated with it, it just wasn't ever going to work. So that was a big lesson. But that's what we're going to talk about in the episodes.
Yeah, we'll talk about yeah, exactly.
So that's my...
No, what you're saying is like 1 minute again, it's the highs and the trajectory, and then best decision I've ever made. Then it's coming back down to, oh shit, I should have stayed where I was.
Not only because we took that risk.
Yeah, because we took that risk, yeah, exactly, and we're learning.
With staff, you think, shall I hire that staff member, or because they're really going to help our business? So we hired an area manager who basically ran probably about 10 of our stores, and she was going out and running them. And
but this brings it to the same thing as obviously what I did.
The business.
Yeah, again, like, you know, you think that you there's a certain infrastructure and things that you put in a business that, you know, we always sit down and we make a clear route plan. Okay, at this point we need this person, at this point we need that, at this point we need this, at this point we need that. And I suppose that I'd done exactly the same thing when I had my convenience stores. I took it from one convenience store to 10 convenience stores in the space of 3 years. However, I was making more money from 2 convenience stores than I was making from 10 convenience stores, because as soon as I started putting infrastructure in place, things became very difficult. I had a few bad eggs that joined the business and literally just were robbing me left, right and centre. Lost a lot of money.
When we got that episode,
that was a crazy nightmare. Literally,
sometimes I think about it and I think...
I was getting robbed. We were getting robbed that much that I used to literally go to sleep dressed with the van reversed in the right way, so that I knew that I was waiting for the phone call. I'd be awake before the alarm would go off, and I'd be there before the police would. But that's a separate episode, and we'll talk about that another time. And what was I saying? Sorry. Yeah. So, you know, again, like the other difficulty is of like cost of expansion, cost of growth, cost of scaling. That's things that people don't talk about, things that people don't see. That you're at one point where you're making really good money and healthy, and you think, you know what, I'm going to double my infrastructure, double what I'm doing, I'm going to make double the amount of money. But it's not though. You go from there and you move forward and you lose twice the amount, and things just start going upside down. But they always say that middle ground is the hardest part. You've either got to be a massive multinational, or you've got to be a small, healthy, family-run business.
The growth stage is the most stressful stage of the business, without a doubt. The reason we're talking about this as well, we've had loads of franchisees come on board as well for Delightful Desserts, and they've went on there to go and, like, you know, to get a franchise, and they think suddenly they're going to have this dessert parlour and they're suddenly just going to become rich overnight without putting any work in, don't even want to go in the shop, don't want to do anything. They think they could just walk around in a suit all day and just literally go in and just collect the money at the end of the week. It does not work like that. So we've lost a lot of franchisees along the way because we've just had to say no, that it doesn't work like that. It's not for you. What's up? What's wrong? Oh, it's pen. You've got a pen on you.
Separate to that, let's talk about our other businesses. Like, you know, we've started off Everything Desserts food service. That was created, it's moving at an exponential rate, doing very well. Had a poor management structure in there. The poor management structure made it, you know, you think that a business is there, it's thriving. You know, then you come back to it and then it's just totally upside down. Basically,
never, ever, ever take your eye off the ball, regardless of who you put in place, be it a finance manager, director, be it even a business partner. Never, ever try and take your eye off the ball, because no one knows that business like you. No one wants it to do what you want it to do.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, no one cares, because they still know.
Because ultimately the responsibility comes back onto us.
At the end of the month, everyone will still get paid at the end of the month, and they don't have those sleepless nights about it. Whereas we haven't paid ourselves in business during our business journey numerous times, like many times, sometimes for months and months and months on end. However, we'll always make sure everyone else in our business gets paid, because that's just what you do when you're running the business. So yeah, that's just the lessons that come along with it. So there's always that stress, basically. And also, you could have the best product in the whole world, be it like for us our drinks or desserts or anything, might even be something you've handcrafted yourself. It could be amazing. It could be better than something out there that's, you know, all over the place on every shop floor. However, unless you market that product, unless you put it out there in the hands of influencers, put it on TV, put it on social media, put it on in magazines, everything, unless people know about it, it's not going to sell. And let me tell you something, marketing is like a black hole. The money that you can throw into marketing, it's never ending.
Not that you can, that you should be as well. There's a lot of people that are ringing us up and saying to us, oh yeah, well, messaging me, saying, I've had no customers in, I don't know what to do. But they haven't got any idea of a marketing budget. They haven't got any idea of a plan. They haven't got any idea of, they don't want to spend. They've got a fear of, like, they want to become a multi-million pound brand, but they're not prepared to put the multi-millions of pounds in to make it that brand.
You've got to be able to part with your money. If you want to be in business, you've got to be able to say, here's X amount of money to help my business grow. Anne-Marie, excuse me.
She's watching herself on the screen.
Yeah, you've got to be able to part with it. If you can't part with your money, if you don't think that, okay, that's going to help, then it's not going to be for you.
Not just that as well, let's just take it into account now, like family. Obviously you do what you're doing for your family as well. You've got to make sure you've got a strong unit around you. There's a lot of people obviously out there now that have got children and stuff, that children do get neglected as well at the same time. So it's like you've got to weigh up the fact of, are you prepared to put in all these hundreds of hours to get it to what you want to get to, but also at the same time you need to put a structure in place to spend time with your family, because you're going to miss a lot of precious moments. I know that definitely for us, obviously growing up within shops and stuff, a lot of my school holidays were spent obviously in the shop, where obviously I learnt a lot along the way, but then it's just part of the and you know, children were kind of neglected, especially within the Asian Indian community. You know, parents were off working constantly.
A lot of people, our generation,
get neglected?
probably do feel like that. For my first Mother's Day with Nimran, actually, my first day was Mother's Day. I was in Delightful Desserts. I literally missed it all. But it didn't upset me because I thought, you know what, I'm doing this for her. And that's what everyone thinks. That's what all the parents think. They think I'm doing it for. Don't do that. I'm doing it for your children. But you've got to be prepared that you are going to have to be doing these hours, or putting in the hours outside of the conventional times that other people do them. But that's business life. So basically the whole moral and the whole purpose of this video is just be prepared for the highs and lows. Don't go into business thinking straight away, that's it, yeah, I've got a business, I've got a shop, I've got this, I'm going to be making that money. Because if that does happen for you, wow, you're very, very, very lucky. That's very fortunate. However, 9 times out of 10, you are going to experience highs, lows, bumps, lumps and bumps across the way. And just be prepared for them. Be as prepared as you possibly can, because sometimes we can have money in our bank, next thing you know, a big bill will come out of the blue. Don't
just be prepared for it, just like smile at it as well. You know, when you get the negativity and you get it's very difficult to say, obviously difficult to do and put into practice, but when you get any sort of negativity, when you get any sort of knockbacks, when you get any sort of highs or lows, just literally smile at everything and just accept everything. To turn around and say that, okay, this is part of the journey, and as long as you stay consistent to your goal, as long as you stay consistent, say, okay, this is where I want to be and this is where I want to achieve, and every day you're making steps and movements forward to reach that goal, then you're winning.
Stay true to yourself as well. Like, a lot of people are going to try and put you off the journey along the way and say, oh, you're not making what you should be making here, gosh, like, you know, maybe you should go and get another job, or are you actually doing what you should be doing? Or they might try and like put you off track. But if you know what your goal is, and you know that you have to spend whatever's coming in on marketing or spend it on advertising to get to where you want to be, you know what you have to do.
It's great to look for advice, but only look for advice for people that have been in your shoes.
That's such a good point. Baz often says that to me, because a lot of people come up to us and just give us advice. They're like literally coming, oh, I wouldn't be doing that if I were you. And then I'll say to Baz, oh, someone said that to us. Like, oh, what do you think? And he said, well, have they done that before? Tell me what they've done where they feel that they can give you. I mean, it's great that people offer you advice. I mean, we're not rude about it or anything like that, but Baz's feedback on the back of it is simply as, what have they done to justify them saying that to you? Like, you know, they've got to have actually done something themselves.
That goes back to saying about
just even creating that idea and having the guts to say, look, this is what I want to do. That's a massive thing in itself. It's so big. Like, you shouldn't discredit yourself for actually thinking that this is what I want to do, because it's such a big thing. Like, anyone can just go out, not anyone can just go out and get a 9 to 5, but just suddenly thinking, right, I'm going to take control of my destiny in my own hands is a very big thing.
It's huge. I mean, especially when you're both doing it as a couple as well, and you're both in business.
It's even more stressful.
It's even more stressful, because obviously you're both part of it, but then stick together, work together, motivate each other, surround yourself by positive people, be positive yourself. Because I know we're going to finish and I got a minute left. Be positive yourself, and just enjoy the ride, enjoy the journey. And if you do get knockbacks, stand up, dust yourself off. And the people that you are surrounded by should be the people that are going to pick you back up and get you going again.
And if you do find the people that you're with aren't doing that, then they're not your people.
Get new people.
Yeah, they're not your people.
Yeah, simple.
So just be prepared for the highs and lows, and our DMs are always open. So if anyone, we're going to be very transparent. We are very transparent about our business journey during these episodes. We're not going to paint a pretty picture of it and make it seem like it's all hunky dory. We've made a lot of money. We've lost a lot of money. We've hired some very, very bad people. We've hired some excellent people. We've experienced a lot, and you know what?
And you're going to see about it in the future episodes, but we're going to quickly wrap it up now.
Specifically.
But one thing what you remember for us, and I always say this, is failure is not an option.
It really isn't.
Good luck, guys. I hope this has been a bit of an insight to you guys. Good luck onto the people that are starting their journey. Good luck to the people that are already in their journey. And as Sunny said as well, our DMs and stuff are always open. Any advice that we can give, obviously we'll give.
Yeah, and we're just going to be open and honest about our journey. So I really hope you enjoyed that. And we'll
Let us know your feedback. Again, like, subscribe, share it, share the channel for us, share what we're doing.
And don't forget to keep telling us what
interact with us, yeah.
Yeah, because that's why this conversation has come about, because of the amount of DMs we've had about this. So if there's anything else you want us to talk about specifically, drop us a message in the comments below, like and subscribe and all that jazz. And yeah, we'll see you next week at the next episode.
Alright, see you later, guys. Bye. Amory, wave at the camera.
Wave.
No,
She doesn't want it.
not interested. Alright, guys, take care. Bye.